Hey guys, Garaclies 64 here, and today it is another installment in my rarest game series, and today we'll be taking a look at the Super Nintendo. So, before we begin, I'll recap the rules. For one, we won't be considering any special edition combos or not for resale demo cards. We also won't be considering cartridges that weren't generally available to the public, such as the Star Fox Super Weekend cartridge or the Donkey Kong Competition cartridge. This list will only consist of officially licensed and Super Nintendo games that were released to the public. So, let's get to it. Coming in at number 5 is Mega Man X3. And as you might have guessed from the title, Mega Man X3 is the third installment in the short-lived Mega Man X series for the Super Nintendo, and at the time of this video, compressed prices upwards of $170. For this game, reviews were generally positive, and nobody really seems to know why this game has fallen into obscurity, other than the fact that this was released somewhere in 1996, the same year as the Nintendo 64. It's pretty well established that this was probably turned away from a bunch of people who were already buying a Nintendo 64. Which has earned the top spot in our list as number 5 being the rarest title on the Super Nintendo, Mega Man X3. At number 2 is Final Fight Guy. Final Fight Guy is a side-scrolling action game similar to Street Fighter. And at the time of this video, confessed prices upwards of $180. If you know the story about Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut, this story will probably sound a little familiar. Here. This is an upgraded version of Final Fight for the Super Nintendo, and was only available through Blockbuster stores. So that means the only way people could get their hands on this game is if they, rented it or never returned it or something. Or, if they got it from a liquidator store when Blockbuster went out of business. And a lot like Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut, this title is very similar, but has a few minor differences. And if you can find a copy, congratulations, you have the 4th rarest game on the Super Nintendo. At number 3 is Pocky and Rocky 2. Much like the original game, Pocky and Rocky is also a top-down shoot-'em-up title, where you play as the main protagonist, Pocky, along with her bear friend, Rocky, and progress through levels by a top-down shoot-'em-up title. If you're unfamiliar with the series, Pocky and Rocky is a top-down shoot-'em-up title where there's only 3 games in the series, 2 for the Super Nintendo and the Game Boy Advance. The one here is for Super Nintendo. And at the time of this video, confessed price is upwards of $250. The reason for this game's scarcity is not really that determined, but probably because in low publishing numbers and an already obscure series, and high demand, probably made this one of the rarest titles on the platform. And at number 2 is Hagana, the Final Conflict. In Hagana, the Final Conflict, you play as a robot ninja who's on a side-scrolling quest to save the world from an opposing ninja faction. And much like Final Fight Guy on our list, Hagana, the Final Conflict is rumored to be a timed Blockbuster exclusive, and that's the only way you could get the game. And as far as game design goes, people say that it is visually stunning and is similar to games like Shinobi. And 5 years ago, you would have been able to come across a copy for, $100 or so. But today, the game has jumped. At the time of this video, confessed prices upwards of $500 to $620. There's a very limited print run and general scarcity, and you got yourself a game for scarcity, and is considered a hidden gem on the Super Nintendo. And finally, at number 1, the rarest title on the Super Nintendo is Aero Fighters. Originally developed as an arcade game in 1992, Aero Fighters was ported to the Super Nintendo somewhere around 1994. And although its rarity is not exactly clear, our guesses is that it had a very limited publishing rate, which led to widespread scarcity. And at the time of this video, confessed prices upwards to $620 to $900. As far as gameplay goes, the game is generally your standard shoot-'em-up title, which has the player into battling an unknown alien force that's bent on world domination. And if you can find a copy at a garage sale for like $2 or something, congratulations. You have the rarest title for the Super Nintendo. Okay guys, that'll be it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, smack the bell as hard as you can, click or tap, and make sure to share this with other friends who might find this interesting. And if you want to see more gaming content, please consider subscribing. That would be greatly appreciated, and I'll see you guys next time. See you later.